time now for Sewing Perfect with Debbie, exclusively on Hometown TV.
Hey, welcome back to Sewing Perfect with Debbie, and today I'm going to show you a really quick project. And what we're going to do is we are going to make a pillowcase. Okay, we're going to make one just like this right here. Isn't that pretty? Got nice satin for where your head's going to be, and the reason you want satin there is so you don't get bedhead. See, when your hair sticks to it and your head sticks to it, that's what gives you that bedhead. Well, when you've got a satin pillow, it's slick and it's smooth and your head don't stick to it, and you don't end up waking up with your hair being still pretty like it was the night before. And we're going to put this really cool looking edge on it, and this is just fabric that I had found and I thought it was really cool. It's kind of tie-dyed and it's got little embroidery and stuff, and it's really, really expensive. So that's one of the things I'm going to tell you to do. Spend your money on your trim, see, because you only need 8 inches per pillow. See, so you only need an 8-inch piece by the width of the fabric. So you don't have to pay $12 for a full yard. You only need 8 inches per pillow. So for 2 pillows, you need 16 inches. See, so you're only going to get about a half a yard. So you can afford to go ahead and buy something that's really cool, really catchy, really flashy, or whatever you want to do on the trim, and then just get a nice solid. Usually you can get this here, this satin, usually you can get it for about $3 or $4 a yard. And sometimes if you catch it on sale, you can get it even cheaper than that. I happened to catch this beautiful chocolate on sale, and I got it for $1 a yard. So I bought the whole bolt and just put it up because I knew I'd be doing something with it. And here's another pillow. This is the one that y'all seen me doing my little finishing touches on during the promo. This is a very simple one, and I'll show you how to do this one too. It's just a square. You're sewing down 2 sides and putting a hem on. Before you put your hem on, then you're going to put your trim, do any kind of little fancy thing. I mean, wouldn't that be so cute in a little girl's room? I mean, that's just really cute. You got 1 pillow, so you've not got a big old fortune in it. And that little girl's going to think that you've spent a fortune on her. Because let me tell you, when you go to buy these satin pillows, you're going to pay $50 for a set at least. And that's really for a cheap set. So, you know, I've seen these upwards of $100 for a set. So I'm going to show you how to do it for under 10. Haha. We don't have to pay those old big old money prices for it. Okay, so standard size pillow is a 20 by 36. Okay, that's your standard pillow. 20 inches wide, 36 inches long. Okay. We are going around the entire pillow. So if you notice, we got both sides. Okay. A normal width of fabric is 45 inches. So when that's folded in half, you have your 20 inches already. Now I already have mine cut just for the sake of making it easier here. And you can see here, you've got the fold. That was the fold of the fabric. So I just went ahead and went off of their original fold, and I cut it down to my 20.5 inches because I'm going to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so you're only wasting just this little, like 2 inches, and put that up and you can make ornaments or something like that out of it. Remember how we did those ornaments? So don't throw it away. You can always use it. Okay, now we're going to put this pretty trim on it, which is this right here. And remember, I told you needed 8 inches of it. You need 8 inches because you're going to go 4 inches this way and 4 inches on the back side. And what you're doing is you're encasing this raw edge. And this is also a full width of fabric, see? So when you lay the fabric out, when you go to the store, the bolt is set up, it's already folded. So that's going to go on the very end of it. Now, I'm going to show you the trick to doing this. And this is the coolest thing. And I didn't even know how to do this until not too long ago. A little girl that makes my quilts and stuff for me here, she was making these pillow covers, and I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. How'd you do that? You know, to where you don't see those stitches on the outside. And she says, well, it's the easiest thing. This is how you do it. And she showed me. And I'm like, I am going to do a show with that and show everybody how to do those. So here's our show. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to take your 8-inch, and this is 40 inches, well, 41-inch nail. Well, it's a little, my tape measure goes to there, but it's wider. So there's your trim. This is going to be your trim edge, and you're going to put the front of your trim facing you, and then you're going to take the body of the pillow and make sure that you put the shiny side, the front of the pillow, of the fabric that you're going to use, and put front to front, and we're going to pin that. Let me grab the pins here. I guess I should have done already had these out and waiting, huh? Okay, so we're just going to pin about every, 6 inches or so. Just whatever you're comfortable with. But you definitely do want to pin it. And you can do this one of two ways, and I'm going to show you the way that I do it, which I found very simple. So it's not complicated or anything like that. I'm just lining up the edge. Okay? Now, this is the fun part. You're going to fold that in, and you're just going to roll it up really, really little, as tight as you can get it. Okay? Now, so you've already got this here edge already pinned. You're rolled up really nice and tight. Now you're just going to bring this edge, the other long side of your trim, and fold it right on over. And now you're going to pin all 3 pieces together. Okay? Making sure that you keep it all good and lined up here on the edge. Okay? Definitely want to keep that lined up. Keep it really good and straight. Make sure that you've not got this here where it's rolled. Keeping that away from your pins, okay? Because where this is pinned, that's where you're going to sew it. And I know you're thinking, well, how does that make the edge of a pillow or the pillowcase? I'll show you. It's a little trick. Now, let's go over to the sewing machine, and I'll meet you over there. We're back. We're over here at the machine now. And if you recall, we rolled that up. We folded the trim over. And now we're just going to take like a 1/2 inch seam allowance and just go all the way across there where we've got it pinned and folded. This way you can kind of see how easy this is to do. It's nothing, nothing difficult. It's not rocket science. It's easy to do. I'm pulling my pins out when I get to them because I don't want to break no needles. And all I'm doing when I'm doing this is just making sure that my roll is still far enough away to where I'm not going to sew down that roll. I don't want that roll sewed. So And I give it a little bit of a tug, which you kind of always do when you're sewing, just to kind of keep everything good and lined up to where you've got it pinned and everything. So I always just give it a good little tug, not a great old big one, just a little one. And I almost got that pin. We don't want to run over pins. We don't want them popping up, smacking us in the eyeball. None of that kind of stuff. And always back tack it. You want that, you want to set those stitches. Okay, now this is where the fun comes in. So now you got this tube with fabric rolled up. All you're going to do is pull that out. Pull what you rolled up. See, we rolled that up. You're just pulling that out. And you're basically turning it right side out now, is what you're doing. Oop. Now what you've done, see, this is the inside of the pillow. See, you don't see the stitches. Same thing here. This is the front. You don't see the stitches. What you've done is you have encased all that raw edge and stuff is all on the inside now. See? And you don't see it. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? So we're going to press this down. Now there's one of two ways that you can sew this together. I don't know if you remember, we did a show several months back on different seams. Well, one of the seams that I had shown y'all was a French seam, or an encased seam, and that's where the seam itself is sewn front to front and then back to back to where it's encased inside of itself, which kind of looks like this right here. Or if you've got a serger, like I am fortunate enough that I have a serger, I just went down and serged the edges of this satin, because sometimes satin can be very, very ravelly and it looks like it's got hair sticking out from it and everything, and it's aggravating. Very aggravating. So if you're going to do sewing, I would suggest, you know, that you go ahead and invest in a serger. They're not expensive. You know, for a nice little one to stay at home is, you know, just a couple $100. And you can get that out at Walmart or Joann's or any place, really. So see, there is our trim. Haha. Wasn't that easy? Now, all you're going to do, now that we've got that cute trim on it, is you're just going to sew it, fold it over to where your trim is on the edge, because if you notice the pillow, the trim is on the opening. You're going to line it up here. Line up your edge. And stick you a pin in there. Line that up. Stick you another pin. You're just going to go through here and stick you a couple pins. Pin in the corner. And then this is the bottom. This is where your pillow kind of rests once it's in the case. You know, a pillowcase has an open end and a closed end, so your pillow don't fall out completely. You don't want it to come out all the way. And we're just going to sew straight down there and then straight across there. Alrighty, so we sewed around the two sides, and I went ahead and took this over to the serger so it wouldn't ravel. So all you do is turn it right side out, push out your corners like that and like that. Now, there is your beautiful satin pillowcase with the really funky and cool edge, you know, of that really expensive fabric. But because we only needed 8 inches of it, we didn't have to spend a fortune for it. And see your seam, you don't see it. See there? And even on the inside. See, a lot of times you would see a big seam or something here on the inside, but see, you don't even see it on the inside either. See? And that, my dear, is how you do a pillowcase. That is how you do a really expensive pillowcase for pennies. Okay, so there you have it. Wasn't that the easiest thing in the world to do? Like I said, these pillowcases with these fancy trims on the edges and stuff, that set right there would cost you about $50 if you got it out at, you know, Nordstrom or Belk or, you know, the Macy's, your, you know, higher end shops and stuff. This costs a total for both pillowcases, I think I got $7 a piece in each one, and that's just because of the trim, and this trim was so expensive, this fabric. So, you know, $14, I got, you know, a $50 set of pillowcases. Think about that as wedding gifts, as a new house gift. If someone just bought themselves a house and you're trying to think, oh, they got blenders and stuff, I don't want to get something like that. I want something really nice and special. You make them a set of pillowcases. You seen how quick it was. I mean, it just sewing straight. This was sewing straight. You know, if you need to tape the show and rewind it to watch the little tube again, go ahead. But it's so simple and it's so easy, and it's so inexpensive to make stuff for people. This way you're not, you know, trying to shell out, you know, $50 for something that you don't need to. You know, when you find fabrics and trims on sale, go ahead and pick it up. You figure this right here, if I wanted to do, okay, I'll show you this one right here. Okay, so this has this trim all the way around it. That's 40 inches, okay? So that's a yard and a little bit, because a yard is 36 inches. Usually really pretty trims like this, these little flat trims, these only run, you know, 50 cents to $1 a yard. So you got this satin here. This is 1 yard, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. This is 1 yard of fabric per pillowcase, a yard and 5 inches of trim per pillowcase. So if you bought, like I said, this is a really nice satin. Usually you can get 1 yard scrap pieces. That's like the end runs of a bolt. That's what this one is. That's how come I've only got one. I only had 1 yard of this fabric because it was an end of a bolt that they rolled up and they put it on discount. So I don't have $2 in this whole pillowcase. And if you were giving that to a little girl to put in her bedroom, that would be the cutest thing. And like I said, it's not going to give you bedhead because it's satin. Now, if you really wanted to get fancy, this here is just leftover lace when I made my daughter-in-law's wedding dress. And I just, like I said, I don't throw anything away. They've been married 11 years now. That's how long I've had this. But wouldn't that be gorgeous as a trim on a burgundy pillow or something like that? Now, this lace was very expensive. That's how come I won't get rid of it. But even at that, if you was to see this pillowcase in Macy's or anything like that, with this trim, you're looking at $150. Because like I said, this trim was extremely expensive. But I didn't mind. It was for my future daughter-in-law, and that's what we used on her wedding dress. So I can make this for, well, you figure a yard of this trim for about $30. So yeah, it was kind of expensive, but wouldn't that be a really special gift for them? And I may do that for maybe their 15th wedding anniversary. That would be kind of cool to use her wedding trim. That would be neat. Just gave myself an idea. Just think if you've got a Tennessee fan. Solid colors you can get for $2 and $3 a yard. When you're looking at, you know, this UT fabric, this is what is expensive. This licensed fabric from UT or UK or anybody else, you only need 8 inches per pillow. Okay, so even though it's $12 to $15 a yard, when you cut that down to an 8-inch piece, you're only looking at $5 or $6. And then this is just a couple bucks a yard. So you're only looking at under $10 to make a UT pillowcase cover. You know, I've got John Deere too. I'm like, okay, I didn't have any UK fabric. I've already used it. Sorry, UK fans. But I do have John Deere, and I thought that would be kind of cute too. So just kind of think of all the different trims that you can use, the different fabrics you can use. This happens to be a flannel. You can use flannel for a pillowcase if you want to. I just talk about the satin because the satin ones are so expensive when you go to buy them, and they make really, really nice gifts to give people. But just kind of let your imagination go wild. You can use about anything for a trim, anything for the body of the pillow, cotton fabric, you know, even when you're buying, you know, pillowcases out at Walmart, it's a cotton pillowcase or it's a sateen or something like that. You can make a satin one for the same price as you're going to pay for a sateen, which is a nice way of saying fake, you know. So just kind of keep that in mind. You saw how easy it was to make. And I hope you enjoyed this show. And when you make your pillowcases, bring them by. Let me see them. I love seeing your work. And that's another episode for this week. And that's how you make pillowcases so perfect. See you next time. Bye.
Sewing Perfect with Debbie is filmed at So Perfect Studios, downtown Middlesboro. Join us each Thursday at 8 p.m. exclusively on Hometown TV 13. Follow your Facebook friends and be a fan of Hometown TV. Facebook.com/HometownTV13.